Alright, so today I wanted to first start by going over your current threads, the work that you guys have sent in, and give you guys some feedback. And yeah, let's dive in. All right. So we're gonna start here. Let's start with Noah. Okay, so these are really cool. I like the thumbnails. I like the exploration process of this railgun. And some of these I might just take in and do some drawovers on them. I'm just gonna Control V, put this here for a second. Get my tablet here. And we can do some quick and easy drawovers for some of this stuff. So the cool thing about stuff like this is I like to sometimes even take this stuff and take it in a 3D program or something and then model it out and then explore a little more. I'm not going to do that here, but if you have those skills, it's a very cool way to start adding a little bit of dimension to your stuff. Alright, so let's start with Noah's thumbnail design and the approach and what I like, what I don't like, what I appreciate, what I... Okay. So as you can see, he's got this, there's this kind of circular design in here that is very, very prominent. And I dig that. I dig that a lot. And I like some of the shape language, right? So like, obviously this is like a pistol. This is kind of like a shotgun styled version. And then this is kind of almost like an AR style. So this kind of completes the types of guns that you may have. You may even have, right, like a sniper version of it. So let's see. Let's go B. Let's create a new layer. Alt. So the only other variation I could probably make out of this is like kind of like a sniper version, sniper rifle version of it. So if I wanted, I'd grab, let's do M, something like this. So I'd grab something like this, right? And this one, it looks like it's got a little more stopping power or something like that, something along those lines. I'd kind of go here, right? And a lot of this, I like, the way you're using negative space, right? I like the way you're kind of using negative space. It's very helpful. All right, remember whenever you're in Photoshop, if you hold down Shift, right, you can get really straight lines. All right. So I'll just remove this, Alt there, and then I would just add like start. There we go. Something like that. And then maybe. Okay. Something like that. Alright. maybe some sort of stand for it, right? Right. And you know, with a lot of weapons, right? The longer the barrel, right, the more damage it kind of does. That's actually kind of true. So it's reality. So let's make it a long barrel. This guy's gonna be doing some marksmanship stuff from quite a distance. Oops. Give it a second. Okay. All right. So I'll do something like that. Maybe like a iron sight of some sort, and then boom, boom, boom. Let's remove. Let's remove this guy. Maybe it's got a Picatinny rail on top. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it, but I've seen those. Right, those little rails that they put on top, so you can mount stuff onto it. All right. So I'm just gonna do that, like so. Boom, and then you're gonna need probably 2 points of contact, so this sight is nice and stable. All right, and then shift. All right, I'm shift dragging to give myself these straight lines. All right. All right. So you got kind of a sniper rifle going here, and maybe instead of kind of like this, we do right, do a shape like that. Something interesting with our barrel. Maybe you want to make it lighter, right? How you make it lighter? Well, you put a couple holes in it, right? And that'll reduce the load of some of these pieces. All right. And now we can bring some of this, like you've got this whole motif of, you know, this little spin cycle thing. I'm guessing that's like your energy source, right? If I'm guessing, right, that's probably like some sort of like, hey, this weapon is powered by whatever this cyclotron kind of doohickey thing is. So maybe we do something like that, and then, right. Alright, so now you can right, the beauty is you can use negative space and subtraction to your benefit, right? So maybe we add a little bit of base to it, right? And now you just want to explore all your options with the shapes, right? Sometimes you'll get some happy accidents. Maybe this is some sort of dial, right? Right. sort of sight. Alright, maybe I go back here. Boom. Boom. Alright. So you're just exploring, right? You're just exploring what you can do with a lot of these. So now from that, you know, I can even go here. Let's go V. That's to select. I'm gonna go M. Just gonna Control C, Control V. I'm gonna just drag this guy, so put all the way at the top layer, and then maybe I can use this as like, all right, maybe this is where we're cycling some of that energy from. And if you wanted to have more power or whatever, you can add a couple more to it. Right, so this would be my only like addition to yours, is like maybe make a sniper rifle version, right? That'd be my only little addition to your collection of weapons over here. All right, so this is pretty cool. I dig what you did here. I really do. I dig the concept. I dig the execution, right? And then you could just start exploring more and more and more with this kind of stuff. All right, so definitely keep it up. Let me see if, I don't know, nobody's here, so I'll keep it to me. If anybody joins the room, right? If anybody joins the room, just send me a message and I'll open it up. But until then, I'm just gonna keep recording. All right. So that's cool. Nothing. Let's do update, please. Let's do joy. Okay, these are cool. These are very cool. Let's do update, please. Okay. All right. So these are. Give me one moment. One moment. Sorry about that. That was a telemarketer. Apologies. We're back to this. All right. So Malik. All right. See the thing is, I know you can do better than this. I know you can do better than this, right? This technically qualifies as trying, but I want you to start attempting to put a little more form in your drawings, right? This is a sword that I would see in like the, you know, what's this? Is this a leaf? I don't know what this is. You didn't label it. I don't know if this is a leaf or not. This is interesting because I feel like there's a story here that I'm missing, right? Like, what is the story? All right. Actually, I'm going to crop this and then I'm going to post it to Noah's page. And the only other thing I would do is like maybe call outs of like sniper. I need to change it, try a different font that's not so. Sniper. Usually doesn't have to be labeled, but you know, sniper. Another thing, maybe you extend this barrel. Use rifle, pistol, shotgun, pistol, rifle. And then you can even start doing, no, I'm not gonna go back and do that. Alright. And then sniper. So this would be the only like addition I'll do to yours. Let me do a quick crop job and export it for you so you have this. And then I'll go back and deal with what I was dealing with. Give me one moment. Sorry about that, guys. Just want to knock this out for you. export as PNG. Okay, desktop. Let's do Noah review. I found it. Alright, so I'm just gonna do Noah's. Alright, cool. Alright, yeah, so I would just, yeah, with this one I would just let's say copy. So my question is, what's the story? Right, if you're doing characters, right? What's this person kneeling, right? I mean, you can do more with just black and white than just drawing these kind of stick figure, right? If they have like even more emotion, right? Let me erase that for a second. Let me add a new layer so I'm not drawing on your layer. Hey, what's the story here? What's our character doing, right? Our character's holding a sword, right? Right. Remember, whenever you're drawing the spine, right? The spine is, our body is kind of S-shaped, right? Think about it like that. If this is your sternum, right? That's kind of how our body is. Right here, we kind of have this kind of natural S curve to us, right? Because our spine bend, we're movable, right? Right, so what's our character doing, right? We want to give them a little more life, a little more dimension, right? If we're saying this person's wielding a sword, what are they doing? What are they doing with the sword? It's hard to understand what's going on from what you have going on underneath here. So my suggestion would be to just give it a little more effort, right? Like, I know sometimes it feels pointless, you're just not getting anywhere, but if you don't give yourself the opportunity to get somewhere, you're gonna just be beating yourself, and this is concept 2. This isn't concept 1. Concept 1 is when you're figuring stuff like this out. You're figuring out form, anatomy, and if you need help with form and anatomy and things like that, well, there's a resource that I've posted up in the chat right here, right? You can check this out right up here, where you can find all sorts of resources. I'm constantly updating these too, so body, arms, full figures, hands, eyes, nose. So when you're drawing people, when you're drawing human figures, you want to get your reference together, get your reference right, right? So yeah, that's my critique. Like, what's the story? What, form, like form over function, right? Form over function. You can tell a story. You can even tell a story with stick figures, right? This guy's technically a stick figure, but he's got more form, right? He's got a little more life to him, right? So what are we doing, right, with our character? If we're trying to show that our character's kneeling or in bended knee, right? What's the impetus, right? What's going on? All right, so that's the idea. Tell me a story. Give me a good story so that my mind can start to wonder. Okay, this is what's happening. This is what's going on. So, form, form over function. Right? We're not engineers, right? Like, for engineers, I would flip that, right? I would say, all right, if you're an engineer, well, it needs to function over functioning is way more important if you're a structural engineer or something like that. But we're not structural engineers, we're artists. So give me imagination, give me fantastical, give me energy, right? Give me something, right? And that's all I ask for with this stuff, all right? So guys, that is my review, or that's my all right, what's the story? What's your story, right? What is the story? All right, so that is I believe Malik's. All right, appreciate you, Malik. And then with this, this is like, these are super easy to do, right? When you're doing swords and stuff like that, like that's so like, and I say it's easy because I've had practice, but the only way you're gonna get there is if you practice, right? Even with swords, right? You don't have to make it some hollow. Like, this is how I would imagine, like, my elementary school students to imagine a sword to be, right? All you have to do for these assignments is just look up just fantastical swords, all right? And you get so many different shapes, right? Like, the thing is, when it comes to art, what people don't realize is that what we see, what we've consumed, right? It does affect what we can imagine. If you haven't experienced anything, if you haven't seen anything, that's why a lot of times some of the best advice I can have for artists is travel. Go outside, go to the library, go to the museum, go to the go to a fair, go to a trade show, go to a pop-up somewhere. You want to experience life. You want to experience things, because the more you see, the more you know, the more you've got in here stored up, right? You need a visual data bank for yourself to be able to do a lot of this stuff, all right? So with something like this, and this is like the easy part of it, which in the sense that all you're doing is just you're imagining how swords and stuff can be. So I'll maybe even go to a bigger brush, right? I'll go to a bigger brush, and then I'll just start imagining shapes. Maybe I've got a curved type sword, right? Maybe something like that. Maybe I've got a hook type sword, like that. Maybe I've got something that's kind of like, that could be a sword, like an anchor sword, right? You could have done this, and this is much more imaginative, much more, you can do a sword where the hilt is big, like that, like almost like a cross sword, and then hit X, right? And then paint that out, right? You've got something with a hole in it. And this is just my little crappy renditions of something, right? It probably took you the same amount of time, but you're using visual reference to kind of guide you. You're not copying it one for one, but you're using it as kind of like all right, I've seen these kind of swords before. You know what, I don't know. You might not know what the sword in Lord of the Rings look like. You might, maybe you've played Halo before, so you know that there's a sword that has two tines, or like this, right? Right? Or you can make a trident sword, right? Right? That's rare. I haven't seen a trident sword, right? But you're imagining, right? You're taking what exists and then you're giving it a spin. You're putting a spin on it. Your own 2 cents, right? So now you can go back with the white to kind of make it, you know, right? You can start to really, and that's why these thumbnail exercises are so cool, is because you can then start adding. It's just black and white. You're just imagining stuff in black and white, and I don't want you guys to underestimate the power of just thinking this kind of manner, where you're all you're doing is just using the black and the white information to guide you. All right. So even something like that, that's cool. All right. And then maybe I go back. Maybe this sword is, you know, BX. All right, this sword can, it'll damage you going in, it'll damage you going out, kind of thing, almost like a flame sword. All right. You're just using what you have, right? These things. It's all about how you are using black and white. Black and white. It's nothing crazy. It's not a crazy concept. And the reason I'm a little disappointed in those is because this will take you just as long to do, right? Like and you're gonna get a much better result, much more interesting outcome than what you've produced there. So, I think you can do better. I know you can do better. I know if you just put a little bit of effort into it, you'll get better results, and you won't feel like you're cheating yourself. So, don't sell yourself short, right? Bare minimum is cool, right? If you want bare minimum results. But if you just put a little bit of effort, you'll get so much further. I promise you. You'll get so much further. Right? And there's just so many cool swords. So, like, I don't know. I'm thinking of, like, what's the shark skin from Naruto, Samnehara, whatever that sword is that Kisame holds around and carries around, the one that that sucks chakra from you. Like, that's it's literally just a giant spiky blob. You know what I'm saying? Like, those are so cool to me, and you don't want to sell yourself short, right? You don't want to give yourself this easy out of, I'm not good at drawing, or I'm not good at this, so I'm not gonna try, right? Like, that's a cop out, right? Don't give yourself that cop out. Just give yourself, just try a little bit, right? I promise you, if you try just a little bit, you'll be surprised at how good you are. Get a little bit of reference together, right? Get a little bit of reference, and you can make just magical stuff happen. All right, maybe I'll do beep. Right now, I'm just kind of going crazy with it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just, right, even this is, I've come up with 6 swords in 5-10 minutes. Didn't really think too much. I looked at some images and I kind of amalgamated, right? That's how your brain works, is you're getting information in and you're using it to kind of guide your flow and let it kind of free flow through you, right? All right, let's go. Let's check some other stuff out. All right, so Peyton, update please. Let me upload Malik's review, and you guys, watch this again and check it out and let me know. You know, just try. I wanna give you guys this little spiel just so you guys know that trying and putting in effort is just that's what you're supposed to do, right? Like, this is the time of your life where it's okay to fail at stuff. After this, after school, after college, if you fail, you're gonna get fired. Right? Like, failure is getting fired. Failure means you don't eat. Failure means you can't buy food. Right? That's what those kind of things mean. So you can't try now, fail fast, fail very early. It's excused now. Right now, the worst that's going to happen is you're going to get a bad grade. That's the worst that is going to happen. You're going to get a bad grade. You might have to take the course over, but you want to try. You want to give yourself an effort. Mr. Fatai, where is your work? What is this? Huh? See, I can be critical of myself. All right, so if I was critiquing my own work, let's see, what would I say? I'd say that a lot of these shapes could use some rounding, right? Your shape here is intersecting with this black part. You don't have enough geometry so I can see the facets in your geo. Your paint over is okay at best, right? The paint over, the overlays of the texture, it's okay, but it could be better. The glass doesn't have any reflection, right? Is this opaque glass? How do they see out of it? Is this magic glass, right? Like, this isn't magic, right? What is this language that you're making? What are these Egyptian? This is an Egyptian craft, right? Okay, this isn't bad, but your depth isn't all the way tuned in, and you're trying to mask everything with a grunge filter and all this smoke, right? Let's see a little more of the work, which is what we're here for, right? So yeah, we can critique my own work. Let's update, please. No. Update, please. All right, let's go to Justin's. Ooh, this is cool. I've really been digging these two. Right? This is what I talk about when I say form over function. The mood is there. I know exactly what's going on. Technically, might not be all the way there. Might not be technically sound, but I get the feeling. I get the emotion. This is a showdown. Whoever's on the other side of that gun better be ready. You about to get shot, bruh. So, I hope you guys understand what I'm saying. When you're conveying the emotion, when you're conveying the feeling, it's there, right? It's there. And he's trying, and I love that. I actually love that. I love all of these. These are so cool, right? And the funny thing is, I know you tried really hard because you're actually treating it like scribbles, and like you're using it like, when you can easily I'll take you through what I'm talking about. This is nice too, right? And you will benefit from using straight lines in your stuff. But this is really cool, really cool. I like the weapon. I like the intricacy of it, right? You took your time if you refine this, this could be a portfolio piece, right? You would just need some structural work on it, right? Like, let me see. Let me copy this. This is cool. All right. So, for our weapons, right? This is super cool. This is super cool. Revolver, bow and arrow. Yeah, cool, man. All right, for weapons like this, whenever you're doing it, you just want to keep in mind your forms. I always talk about forms. Right now, it might not function right, but the forms are there. I can see where you're going with this. Let's see where my mouse isn't. Let's see where my Wacom tablet isn't reading. Give me 1 second. All right, it's back on. All right. So, hit X on the keyboard. That'll switch our foreground and background color. So when I talk about form, I'm talking about, right, these. Reduce this. You want to draw through these shapes. Right, you want to make sure that these, because that's what's going to give it 3-dimensionality. Right? You can see how the form changes in the weapon. You can see just by drawing through some of those that you're going to start to get some better. So like your forms, and I think part of it is because you're freehanding a lot of this stuff, right? And when I say draw through, so like draw through the circle. What that helps you, it helps you visualize, right, the entire form all the way through, right? And when I draw my straight lines, right, it'll reflect that. So I'm just drawing through all of my stuff, right? And you can break all of these pieces down into basic shapes, right? Right, you can break all of this down into basic shapes. Right, and you see how, because of, you can see the form of the weapon, right? And whenever you're doing it, you can, right, right, it's going to get a 3-dimensional look to it. Right, when we do that, and then our shapes will then follow that. Right, so if you're going to do it as like line work the way you're doing, you're just going to want to draw through all of those shapes so that now we know our surfaces, right? So this, we know this is this way, boom, boom, boom. This is the direction that's going, right? And then we've got this, our barrel in the middle right here, which is a cylinder, right? Right, and that's why whenever we do our forms, it just helps us. It informs us as to what's going on in there. Maybe beep. And maybe wherever the cylinder is, right? And all of these can be broken down into simple shapes. Boom. right? And like I said, it just helps you get more form out of your designs. All right. So drawing through the shapes definitely helps, right? And I like how intricate a lot of these designs are. See where your mind is going. It's like one of those like old school western kind of weapons, right? So very cool, right? Just my only suggestion is straight lines and draw through. So let me reduce the opacity of this so you can get the idea. So yeah. Boom, boom, boom. Right. We're just adding more form, and now, right? Just adding more form to it. All right, you can see how this is adding just right. We can follow now the three dimensionality of our weapon, right? Right. You want to always pretend like you can see through your shape. You want to pretend like you can see through it. And there's another feature in Photoshop that might help you guys as well that let me just show to you guys. I mean, boop, boop, boop. Right. Get in the habit of practicing drawing with form. This was like the best advice that I think I ever got when I was in art school was pretend like you can see through it. Pretend like you can see through to the other side, and that'll help you give it more realism. All right? So like instead of drawing just like a cylinder like this, pretend like you can see through it. Right? So right, this not only helps you understand the form, but it helps you shade it a little better because like now I can imagine that well there's a curve here, right? I'm seeing it true to its true nature. Right? So pretend like you can, because now you're like, okay, so what's this? Oh, okay. But this is a lot better because what it does is if I'm now drawing a curve, And then let me add this to this side. This is this side. What direction is this going? Like, what direction is this shape going? Is it going this way or that way? Well, if I draw through my form, I can show you what direction that it's supposed to be going. Right? I can use my form to direct you in the way that it's going. Or I can do the same thing, but in the opposite direction. Now think about it this way. All right? Same shape, different direction. Same shape, different direction. So the curve line will help you determine a lot of those things. So don't forget, draw through your shapes. Draw through it. Pretend like you can see straight through it. Right? So now, instead of it opening at the top, this opens at the bottom. So you can use your form, your shape, to change direction. Right? And you can use this, think about it for like an arm or something. Right? So we can use that to determine the form that way, right? And then we can change the direction this way, so now it looks like it's facing us, right? Now you're mixing those two it's a change in form, right? Like, you know how Naruto has change in chakra natures? You're changing the form from one direction, the flow from one direction to the other. Same line, but you're using those lines to change the way the viewer is oriented in it. And you're not going to get that. You're never going to get that if you are not drawing through your forms. Right? It's going to be hard to tell, especially for younger artists. It's going to be hard for you to tell. So start to train yourself to see the change in form, the change in direction. Use your lines to do that for you. All right? So that would be my only advice for something like this is, just use, and then here we go. Sorry about that. So when you're drawing, I really like the style. There's like it's almost like there's even a style in the way you're drawing this, and you have your own unique style. But for you, I would suggest you could turn up this smoothing feature inside of Photoshop right here at the top, right? If you scale this all the way up, it now allows the stroke that you make to be much more smooth, right? You see that? We're getting a smooth stroke, right? It's just an assist, right? And now I can, boom, see how I'm showing you the change in this direction. But the moment I want to turn it around, I can now use that to look like the form is switching the other direction, right? And you can't even tell where that change happens, but you can say, oh, it's going this way, it's going this way, and then it's going this way. So, change in direction, change in form using lines, right? This guy may have a mask, like this kind of mask or whatever. That's cool too. All of the thinking, the thought process I dig. I would just like for you to hone in on your execution of some of it, right? You can still keep the same fervor, the same way you're kind of attacking these, but I would just like you to throw a little bit more form into there, right? Throw a little bit more, all right, I'm thinking through the shapes. I'm thinking through how my forms and stuff is going to be, because you can start to use these as your final pieces if you're thinking through some of those processes and you're drawing through, right? What you're going to realize is people want to see your thought process, right? People want to see, and you can tell a lot by how somebody's drawing is based on the way that they draw and the way that they draw through their shapes and whatnot. All right. All right, I spent quite a bit of time on this. I'm gonna save this out. File, save as, export. I really dig these. So yeah, keep up the good work. This looks good, Justin. All right, I'll post up my review for you. Check it out. Right, and this can go for all of these, right? Draw through the forms, draw through the shapes, and keep experimenting. All right, Luis. Oh man, these are cool. These are cool. These are cool. Similar critique. Let's see. Yeah, similar critique. I'm going to copy this. Control N will give us a new document. It's going to, because I copied it, it's going to then give me that. All right, same. Right, the silhouette is cool, but we want to know the change in form. Right? Change in form. This helps us know if this arm is going forward, right, or backwards. Right? If this arm is receding backwards, right? And then this forearm, right, with the greaves or whatever, might be coming forward. Right? Dig it. Right? Really dig it. But those changes in form will really help us understand as the viewer that this arm is going backwards, this arm is going forward, right? And it's up to you as the creator to kind of give us something to go off of. All right. And then with the right, what is right? All right. I want you guys to start practicing drawing through change in form. Right, change. Right, even I think you've got like a belt here. Right now the belt is doing this, but I can't tell if you don't put it there. Right? So now just these simple lines kind of helps us determine, right, what, and you'll be able to tell if it's going the right direction or the wrong direction. Oops. I'm just trying to remember these are, circles. If you're seeing through the shape, right? See through the shape. See through your shapes. See what's going on, right? And this will give you that change in direction, that change in form that's missing. It just feels a little flat, right? It just feels a little flat, and that's why I would go in and kind of just add some, and these can be a lot lighter, right? Like you don't have to, but now we kind of have, it just feels like he's more full and he's got form to him rather than this flat design, right? Just keep things like that in mind whenever you're you're designing these guys. You know, and some of this stuff is, you know, and these guys, I really dig it. You know, I dig the design. Right. You know what makes things look even scarier? Right, multiple eyes and things like that. Right? Things like that really do make characters seem a little more ominous. Right? They don't look like one of us. They don't look like something we recognize. Right? Something like that just gives it a little bit more more oomph. Right? And this piece kind of looks like it's melding too much into this. Right? And then you want to make it look even more interesting. You start putting holes in them. Right? There's this thing called agoraphobia, which is some people who are scared of too many holes close together. So you can really start to play on that with more holes or more eyes or more things like that. You know. Right, and then if you want them to really start to kind of come out at you, you know, and then maybe this guy, he's like, this is him feeding off of this lowly captor that he has here, right? He's feeding off of him. You just give him, you know, some of that, taking some of the juices. And it's going right back into him, giving him some power or whatever. I don't know where you were going with this, but, you know, I like it. I dig the idea. I dig the concept of that you're going for here, right? Maybe he has, this thing comes out to a point. Right, these things come and they grab you. They hook onto you. Definitely dig it. Good job. Looks cool. I like the idea. It tells a story. It's like something's, this guy's being taken away somewhere. All right. Form over function. I don't know how this guy's gonna work. I don't know if this, you know, I don't know how this guy would work. But it looks cool. You know, you know, that's the point, right? It looks cool. So. Alright, I'm going to post this on your page, Mr. Luis. Okay, so who is next? Let's post this. Okay. Let's get an update, please. Noah. These are cool. These are very cool. Dig these. This is what I'm talking about. Like exploration, right? These explorations are really, really cool. I really dig it. I could see this as like a platformer somewhere, right? Like an indie platformer where you get to run around and do a bunch of stuff. I dig it. dig it a lot. You even built a world out of them. Yeah, this is cool. I mean, other than this would be a cool, like it's like a cool level, right? Like you got to platform your way all the way up here, and then you're showing that this guy has the power to kind of grapple. That'd be kind of interesting to see what kind of world this is, right? You know, the idea. There's this book called Save the Cat. I think it's the name of the book. It's a book on screenwriting, and it says essentially, I'm gonna bastardize this horribly, but do bear with me. The idea is when you're writing your story, right? The idea is whenever you're writing your story or whatever, we should. Okay, you guys are here. Oh, awesome. Yeah. Okay, so I've been just going through your channels and giving you guys critiques, uploading my feedback to your channels. If you guys didn't see me, oh no, you guys weren't in the chat. You guys were just online. All right. Either way, so the idea from Save the Cat is that the main idea is, right? You have this thing that you're gonna save. Just focus on that. As long as you focus on saving the cat, your story you will wrap up pretty nicely, right? You need to give your hero, whoever the protagonist is, their cat to save. In Mario, the cat to save is Princess Peach, right? Your job is to go and find and save Peach, and then Bowser comes, he takes her away, and then you have to go and save the cat once again, right? So let me do and that gives me this feeling of like, all right, what do I need to go save? Who do I need to go get? Who do I need to go help? Right? That's what I get from this. What's my adventure? Right? And as long as you keep that focus of save the cat, your story should be moving at a decent pace, a decent rate. All right? Yeah, like I told you, I'm gonna bastardize the entire thing, but that's that's essentially the book. All right. So that is it for the reviews for so far what you guys have. These could be a little more fleshed out. Let me copy this 1 second. See, these are more exploratory than these are, is what I would say. Alright, so let's do Control N, enter. Control V, that's to paste it there. Or not. Copy, paste. Okay, Control N. V. So for some of these guys, I would like this guy here. Boom. Maybe give him like some sort of like hose coming out. This guy. Maybe instead of this, you give maybe right, if he's some sort of helper bot or something, right? Maybe he's got some sort of cranial thing that helps him do his job a little bit better. here. He's got some sort of battery unit in his back. Alright, some sort of battery unit, and then this is how he gets electricity or whatever. Or this guy's got like some spikes or something that comes out of him, his back. Like a tortured soul. You want your silhouette to be a little different, right? Just to give him more interest, right? And then maybe he's got some sort of wiring that crosses or something like that. Or maybe it's like the web weaver, right? You know. I want you guys to explore the silhouettes, right? Explore what you can do with one character. Right? Maybe this guy instead of legs, right? You go big and you go, maybe you don't have legs. Maybe just a giant wheel, right? You just got one giant wheel that you use to roll around. Right. Alright, he rolls around on a wheel. Maybe this guy, right? And this guy, instead of all of this guy just got some kind of, right, some arachno type legs or something like this, right? Right, explore, right? This is your, don't be scared, right? Just push and pull and paint and throw stuff on the canvas. You never know what's gonna happen. Right, I definitely like the explorations, but I think you can push it a little bit more. Right, see what you like. And then maybe his arms or the arms, he's got like spikes or something. Just don't be afraid. That you're. The only thing that I will not accept is if you don't try. Like that's the only thing I care about. If you try, who gives a fuck what it looks like? Who cares? Right? Explore. That's your job here. Right? And this guy. Let's see, what can I do? This guy. Wheels. Boom. The back. Boom. Maybe instead of that, maybe this guy just hovers. Right? He just hovers. He's just a hoverbot. Right? Maybe that's how he gets around. He just hovers. Like a Jetsons bot. Or right? So this is kind of what I'm talking about, right? Look at the difference in the silhouette value. All right, we've got one closer to top heavy. This one's more wide, right? We've got the guy with the back stuff going on, right? Same here. So don't be afraid to experiment, explore, right? Kind of put pen to canvas and enjoy yourself for like an hour or two messing around with stuff. This is the purpose. This is why you do this, you know? So, yeah, that's it for this. Let me export this file, export. I think that's all of them. I want to say that's all you guys. Yeah, Noah. All right. So yeah, if you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, definitely do give me a call or a shout out. Let me know. Right, I'm pretty quick to respond to a lot of the stuff that I see on here. So just let me know. All right. It's your boy Ty. This is Concept Art 2. Don't forget to post your thumbnails on Brightspace as well. And if you're not seeing these, I usually will go on Brightspace and give you feedback on there as well, just in case you don't see some of these on your threads, right? However you need to get in contact with me, do so. I am quick to respond, or I try to be as quick to respond as I possibly can within 24 hours of receiving the message. And yeah, it's Ty, Concept Art 2, and I am signing out.